Welcome to Charles County Now. I'm Natasha Anthony. Imagine dedicating years of your career to public service, working for the federal government, only to find yourself suddenly facing job uncertainty due to changes beyond your control. It's a stressful and uncertain time. But here in Charles County, help is just a click away. Today we're talking about a new online resource designed specifically to support federal employees and contractors during times of transition. Joining us is Kelly Robertson-Slagle. She's the director of Charles County's Economic Development Department, to tell us more about this initiative and how it can help our community. Kelly, thank you so much for joining Charles County Now. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me in to talk about the resource.
Of course. Thank you so much. So this is a tough time for many federal employees and contractors in Charles County. Can you walk us through why the Economic Development created this resource page and what kinds of challenges it's meant to address?
Sure. That's a great question. In the Department of Economic Development, and we're out and about in the community. We live within the community where we work, and certainly when we started hearing on the news, as well as through some of our federal delegation and directly from our business community, that they were starting to feel and see, federal directives that were coming down. We quickly mobilized because, one of the things that we know, and we've certainly had experience in from COVID, the quicker that we can go in and kind of identify some of those early challenges and issues, the better we are at mobilizing the resources.
Definitely.
So as a result, we were like, we huddled up as a team in the department and wanted to deploy not just an online resource, which is the website, which we'll talk about in a sec, but also an online survey, which is a component to that, which is just as important to us to make sure that we get the word out about that online survey.
Definitely. So let's talk about the support available for those navigating job loss or career changes. What local resources, training programs, or even networking opportunities exist to help job seekers re-enter the workforce or explore new careers?
Well, we have several resources that are available for folks that want to visit our meetcharlescounty.com website.
Okay.
And then there's a red banner. You can't miss it. It's scrolling along the top of our website there. Click on that and it will take you to the federal government transition specific dedicated page. A couple different categories, one of them being workforce.
Okay.
And underneath of that, there's a couple different resources that are available. We're very fortunate to have a service down here locally within our region, Southern Maryland Workforce Services. It is a division of the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland and supported by the Maryland Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, or DOLLAR, as we like to affectionately call them. They've really been our partners. They're always our partners, but definitely have stepped to the forefront to be able to work directly with those federal government and employees that are in transition for whatever reason. Anybody who's in a transition of one position to another certainly can utilize these resources. But what they will do is they will, identify opportunities for you. They will encourage you to visit one of our one-stop shops, is what they're called, and we do have one right off of Post Office Road in Waldorf. They have walk-in hours where you can go in. There are folks in an active team that's available to meet one-on-one to figure out what your individual situation is, and help you if it is resume rework. You want to have somebody review your resume. Some folks, including federal government workers, it's been a little bit.
It's been a while, yes.
and those who have gone through the process, a federal government resume looks a little bit different than a standard resume format. So those are some of the resources. Interviewing skills, that's another thing that they can work with. If there is maybe a job opportunity that you may be interested in, but your skills may be, there may be a little bit of a gap. You hit 5 of the 6 and you want to really maybe beef up on that 6th skill. They can also talk to you about training opportunities that are available locally. They are partnering with the College of Southern Maryland, another really good resource for folks that are in this transition and maybe trying to figure out is it time for me to look at having another credential?
Definitely.
Or, we've even had conversations with folks that may have been a part of the Department of Defense.
Yes.
For example, I'll just use them, but it certainly could be any federal, any federal department that, may say, I may not want to do this for the federal government anymore, but I have the skill set, and I might want to start, my own business opportunity and maybe contract.
Yes.
And jump over. I know that's a little scary too, because we're certainly hearing some feedback about, some of our federal contractors as well. But there are other opportunities to contract with other organizations outside of the federal government. And that also is a resource that the College of Southern Maryland, through the Small Business Development Center, as well as our Department of Economic Development, can certainly walk folks through that thought process and introduce them to some resources that could be available to them should they choose to do that.
Kelly, that's very, very good. Thank you so much. Now, unemployment benefits can be a confusing process, especially for federal employees and even contractors. Can you break down what types of unemployment assistance are available and how someone can determine if they're eligible?
So that is something I would strongly, and I mean strongly encourage, certainly you can go onto the website and start to navigate it yourself.
Okay.
I have done that before. We certainly tried to, assist during COVID when there was some employment displacement, during that process. Even myself, who has been working in economic development for a couple decades now, even I was like, not quite sure what this means, or I'm not. That Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation and that one stop that I discussed, I just previously mentioned, they are so valuable in assisting folks to be able, they will literally sit down next to the computer with you and really help you step by step with that. One thing that I do want to mention, and this is something that we're trying to get the word out on, is if you are displaced and you did work for a federal government agency, you apply for your unemployment benefits where the agency was located, not where you currently live.
Okay.
So you may be a Charles County resident, but you may have worked for the Pentagon in Virginia, over in Arlington, over that way. That is where you would apply for your unemployment benefits. So that right there is something that could potentially be confusing to folks.
Definitely.
So my recommendation is do not hesitate to pick up the phone and ask the question. We have a ton of people, that are working on this team with us to assist. And we want to make sure that we don't have folks that are just like not quite sure where to start.
Okay.
All it takes is one phone call.
And
we'll point you in the right direction.
Perfect. Good to know. Now, beyond job searches, financial stability is a major concern for many affected workers. Now, Kelly, what kinds of assistance programs are available for things like food, medical expenses, or even help with energy bills?
Those types of assistance resources, information is on our federal transition website, so I encourage folks to go and look at that. There's a couple state resources that are available, but locally here in Charles County, we do have our Department of Community Resources. Dina Barclay and her team are fantastic and have been actively, taking phone calls, answering questions, referring folks to different resources. Everybody's situation is different. So we would love to say that here's a menu and you can have one of these and one of those and one of these. Every situation is different. And we certainly don't want to send somebody in a direction that they may not necessarily be eligible for. So I encourage you to reach out, talk to the folks in community resources, let them know about your individual what you have going on, and that will allow them to point you in the right direction and make those critical connections for you.
Very, very valuable, Kelly. Thank you. Now, many people don't realize how much transportation and housing impact someone's ability to recover financially. Now, what resources are available to help people with commuting, finding affordable housing, or even avoiding homelessness?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll start with transportation. So we have a great partnership with the state of Maryland, and folks, they probably saw them and then we didn't see them as much because there was a lot of teleworking. And now that folks are back on the road again, you're actively seeing those MTA buses, the park and rides, things like that. So again, the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland, mentioned them previously. They are your conduit. Reach out to them. They have information on all of the MTA bus, the different schedules.
Yes.
Where they're going to, the times of the buses, where you can meet them. And they'll even talk to you about some guaranteed ride home programs. So if you're a little hesitant to depend on transportation just in case you might have to stay after. I mean, you certainly know.
Yes.
We go into the day thinking it's going to end at a certain time, and 9 times out of 10, something comes up. They do provide information on guaranteed ride home. So if you do get caught in those situations, it does give you peace of mind that there is a resource that you can use to be able to, get you home and not get stuck waiting for a family member to come pick you up. So again, they're back out. They are running. The last I heard, they were running at about 50 to 60% capacity, and the state of Maryland has assured us when they get to capacity, they are going to be adding additional routes.
Okay.
So I don't want to get folks nervous thinking that's all there is. They are really working with us to continue to expand that as our usage starts to ramp up, as folks are starting to go back into the office.
Okay. Anything on homelessness? And
so homelessness, Department of Community Resources. Again, they're a fantastic resource. Talk to them. Feel comfortable. They are an advocate for you, and feel comfortable talking to them about your individual situation. The sooner that they're aware, the better they are to be able to provide that assistance and connect you with those resources.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Kelly. Now, for families with children, unexpected job loss, and return to office, policies can be especially difficult. What services are available for parents who may need childcare assistance or additional support for their families?
That's an excellent question. I was a working mom for many, many, many years, so I completely, to my heart, understand the challenges, the dilemma, and it very much is when you for many years you've had a certain type of structure and you've been able to do it, and now all of a sudden it's like childcare and carpooling again and all of that. So there are some resources available. I would encourage you to reach out to our Department of Parks and Recreation for there's some after school programs that are available that are fantastic, that are available in our schools, some of our school systems, so they can certainly assist where that way your child can stay after. There's homework help, there's sporting activities, there's different things. I can tell you my son, he's 26 now, he participated back in the day, loved it. So I always try to encourage people to look into that. But again, I want to reach back or loop back around. Definitely hit our federal government transition website to see some specific resources, but definitely our Department of Community Resources as well. Some of those stipends. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, being the Director of Economic Development, childcare is one of those demand industries here in Charles County, and we are working feverishly to try to get some more daycares. I say daycares, but childcare of all different shapes, sizes, looks, feels online in our community, because it is something that we are hearing consistently from our residents that we just don't have enough. And so we're working really hard to get some additional resources online.
Definitely. Kelly, you've shared a lot. Now, for someone watching right now who is feeling overwhelmed and unsure where to start, what's the first step they should take? How can they access this webpage and start getting assistance today?
Okay, so today, two things. Definitely want to visit meetcharlescounty.com. Again, that is our standard economic development website. Look for the red banner at the top. You cannot miss it. We tried to make it as bold as possible. Click on that link. That will get you directly to our federal government transition website. Take some time to read through that website. There is a lot of valuable information. We have direct contacts, we have direct links to websites, things like that. So definitely look at that. If you have any questions about it, do not hesitate to reach out to our Department of Economic Development.
Okay.
We have a team of 13, including me, that is willing to talk to you, talk about your individual situation, kind of walk you through and connect you to some of the resources based on what your individual situation is.
Okay.
That's definitely the first thing. The second thing is we are encouraging any resident, any business owner, any federal government employee, whatever category you feel like you fall in, please take the online survey that is linked to that website.
Okay.
It is active. It has been up for about 5 weeks now. We've had over 100, almost getting close to 200 folks who have filled out that. We are downloading that information every Friday and we are reviewing it.
Okay.
And it has really been our opportunity to see like what is it? Like what are those core things? What is our biggest need that we are hearing from our community right now? And we are taking that information and we are able to pass it up to our federal delegation and to weekly meetings that we are having with the governor's office.
Okay.
And through those, through that insight, we're able, we're working on some specific job fairs. We're working on more specific childcare assistance. It's allowing us to get real live feedback to our state partners to be able to, triage. And it's very powerful. It is very powerful information for us to have to be able to bring forth some of these resources.
I love the practicality.
Yes, so
please,
please take the time. It's no more than 5 minutes. I promise it's easy, but we're encouraging you. Even if you're like, not quite sure, but you feel like you're going to feel the pinch, we still want to know about it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kelly. Now, finally, how can local businesses, community members, or other organizations get involved to help support this initiative and the people who need it?
Fantastic. I'm so glad that we're kind of ending on that question. And we've already had some business owners reach out to us. They recognize that, that some of our community members are really hurting. They're in a sense of unease right now. I'll call it that because I don't really know else what to call it. We're calling it transition, whatever. There's a lot going on right now. And, that's one thing I know about our community is we truly are a community that wants to help each other. So if you are a resident, if you're a community member, if you're a nonprofit, if you're a business owner and you want to see how you can help, reach out to our Department of Economic Development. We want to have that conversation with you and we want to be able to partner you up with that right resource. And just in advance, I want to say thank you because like I said, we've already had folks wanting to reach out to see how they can help. So those that are listening, thank you in advance. Thank you for stepping up and offering that assistance.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Kelly. Now, Charles County is committed to supporting its residents through every challenge, and this resource page is proof of that dedication. If you or someone you know is impacted by federal government changes, don't wait. Visit meetcharlescounty.com today to access vital services from job support to financial assistance and more. A big thank you to Kelly Robertson-Slagle for joining us and sharing this valuable information. That's it for this episode of Charles County Now. I'm Natasha Anthony. Remember to stay engaged and stay connected.